Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Ithaqua's Bane, covering all manner of tabletop gaming. Please take a moment to like and subscribe, ring the bell, add some comments. Thank you very much in advance. And in this episode, I'm going to bring to your attention another couple of tools that we can use for many types of gaming, actually. I mean, they are primarily designed, I think, for role-playing games, both fantasy and science fiction. But again, I think they can definitely be adapted and used in other types of game. For example, in creating a terrain setup for a miniatures game, maybe as creating locations in a campaign. Again, for board games, for tabletop games, many things. And what we have in front of us today are two generators, location generators by Lindsay Bonnet. And both of these can be found on Itch. They are both name your own price. So technically you can download them for free, but I do recommend sending $1 or $2 to Lindsay to show appreciation and also to kind of get more work from them. So what we have here are two generators which they are very similar, but there are a couple of little differences between the two and how they work, but they do kind of follow the same framework, and that is essentially what they are doing. They are going to create a framework for a location, either some kind of fantasy or dungeon setting or some kind of science fiction setting. Now, the way that this works is that you will create, first of all, a location. You'll identify what exactly the location is. You will then design the layout. And it's a very clever little way of using dice to create the layout. And I'll show you that in a second. And then after that, you will then randomly generate a description, a theme, for each of the rooms or areas that you have generated. Now, these do not go into a huge amount of detail, but they are very good at providing prompts for us to embellish, evolve, and to really flesh out the dungeon or the sci-fi location. Now, the fantasy one, Dungeon Trappings, is 10 pages. Yeah, that's all, just 10 pages. So it's a very small booklet, but again, very useful. The Station Trappings, the science fiction, is only 6 pages. Now, the reason why the Station Trappings is a bit of a smaller document is because it doesn't have a worked example. Dungeon Trappings, Lindsay actually goes through an example with each stage of generating the dungeon. And that takes up, like I say, a few extra pages. Right, we are going to look at, we're going to have a quick look at both, but I want to really kind of go through the science fiction one and show you guys how it works by going through an example. So let's get rid of that one for the moment and let's focus on this one. All right, so the first thing that you'll find in the document is an overview of how the generator actually works. There is very easy to follow flowcharts showing you step by step what to do. Also tells you what you're going to need. You're going to need a 12-sided dice, an 8-sided dice, a number of 6-sided dice. You're also going to need to have some paper to make some notes and to draw out possibly pencil, pens, and everything else you're going to need. Right, now, then we take a look at the next page, which is your station theme. Now, for the dungeon book, for the fantasy book, it's pretty much the same kind of thing, except you look at the dungeon theme. And in the fantasy books, it's not just dungeons. You can have castles, labyrinths, forests, prisons, etc. Yeah. But the first thing that you'll be doing is to create your station theme in terms of what is the purpose of the location. You've got a trapping, some kind of descriptive theme, and also where is it located itself. Feel free to modify, to re-roll, to pick, because your campaign, your game session, or what you want or need may not be generated randomly using these tables. So I would recommend, like I say, with all these tools, is to use it as much as you need and to use it as a guide rather than being set in stone. After that, you will then actually build the station in terms of the layout. And the way that this is done is actually very clever. What you'll do is you'll roll a number of dice. It recommends here roll 1 to 4 6-sided dice, and very important, you need the dice with the pips, with the dots. You don't want D6s with the numbers, the physical numbers. You need the pips. Why? Because these pips are going to reflect rooms and areas. Now, the dungeon, the fantasy version, is a little bit different here. The way that it's recommended here is that you roll 6-sided dice until the total is higher than 5. With the sci-fi version, you're basically selecting a number of dice first and then rolling. Now, once you've rolled the dice, either by selecting a number of dice to roll, or like in the fantasy one, you're rolling one at a time until you have a certain number of pips. What you'll do then is arrange the dice that you roll into a format which represents your layout. So in the example here in the book, you've rolled a 4 and a 6, and you can position them to actually reflect the layout of your station or dungeon. Now, to identify what each room is, you have to go back to your theme, and you're looking at your purpose and your trapping that you rolled up. What you do is you will come to the back of the book here where it says assembled tables, and you are looking for the trapping. So you're trying to identify the descriptor table at the back of the book which links with your trapping that you rolled up. So for example, if we rolled up maybe a 5, biomechanical, we would now come back here and we would look up for the, where is it? Biomechanical descriptor table, and that's what we would be rolling to give us some information about each room. Combined with that descriptor is the room type. And the room type table here includes some generic and also some purpose specific. So what you'll do is you roll on 2 tables, the room type and the descriptor table, which is relevant to your trapping that you rolled up at the start. Now the purpose specific would now have to come down here, and you'll have to pick one which is linked with the purpose that you rolled earlier. And like I say, they're all linked at the back of the book here. Once you've done that for every room, and again, I would suggest when you're creating your station or dungeon, apply a little bit of common sense. You may want to switch some of them around so it makes more sense, kind of thing. But once you've done that, once you've identified each room, what you can then do is look and see whether the rooms have challenges. And again, this can be done for every room. You roll to find out what kind of challenge there is, and then you're rolling to find out specifically what is in that room to challenge your party or your PCs. And that essentially is the generator complete. That's all it is. Theme, layout, rooms. That's all it is. But it gives you a good framework from which you can then develop and add more information, add more details, so that your party has a very interesting location to explore. Now, the dungeon book, the fantasy version, is a little bit different in that the theme will only include 2 things, the location and the trappings. It doesn't have this purpose. So you'll roll up a location and trappings, and again, those that you roll up will then need to identify these tables at the back. So for example, if you roll up a manor, you will then have to come here and use the manor table when you're trying to identify the different rooms. The layout Like I say, the method of actually rolling the dice is a little bit different here, but there's nothing wrong with using the same system as the sci-fi version. And again, as you're doing each room, it's exactly the same process. You're looking at the location and the trapping. You go to the back, you find the relevant tables, you roll on those to give you a description, a set of prompts for each area or for each room. And then again, you have a potential challenge for each room as well. It could be NPC roleplay, it could be environmental, or it could be an adversary. Oh God, I can't say it. Anyhow, the process is very simple. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how simple it is by doing one. Again, in the dungeon one, there is a very good worked example that you can follow through. But for the sci-fi, there isn't. So what we're going to do is we're going to very quickly roll up a random sci-fi. I mean, it could be a station, but not necessarily. But let's find out what we get. We're going to roll up an example station trappings location. So first of all, we want a purpose, and this is a D12. The trapping will also be a D12. The location will also be a D12. So let's roll and see what we find. So first of all, the purpose, we get a 9, which is entertainment. So purpose is entertainment. Right, now we need some more information. So we look at the trapping. Is it modern? Is it destroyed? Is it alien? Well, let's find out. So the trapping is a 2, worn. Okay. So maybe this is an area, maybe it is actually on a space station. It's like a location on the space station, or maybe it's in some kind of city. The worn trapping is kind of leading me to think that maybe it's in a rundown area of the spaceport or the space station. But let's find out exactly where it is now, the location. D12, we get a 6, dense nebula. Okay, so location, dense nebula. Now, in terms of future rolling and more generation in this product, the location doesn't really affect anything. So we're looking at some kind of entertainment location in a dense nebula. It's worn, it's dirty, it's old, it's in probably the poor area. And I'm thinking that maybe a dense nebula, maybe some kind of way station or some kind of mining facility. And this is like where all the miners or the workers go to hang out. I think it's still occupied. There's nothing that we've rolled as yet to tell me that it's abandoned or anything like that. So it could still be occupied, but maybe it's where criminals hang out. Right, now the next thing we need to do is actually to create the layout. And it recommends to roll 1 to 4 6-sided dice. Now what I'm going to do, because this is not like a huge facility, I don't think. I think an entertainment facility won't be that big. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll 2 dice and I'm going to see what we get. I think 2 dice should be enough. Like I say, I don't see this as being a huge location. So we're rolling 2 dice. That's not enough. I'm going to re-roll. 6. Yeah, okay, that can do. So I've got a 4 and a 2. Now to create the layout, whoops, where's the 4 going? There's the 4. To create the layout, we have to position the dice to create something. Now I could do like this. I could do like this. I could do like that. I mean, that's just going to create like just a 6. I could do like that, or like I think I'll probably do it like this. So maybe this could be the entrance, and then this would be like the facility. Yeah, the entertainment facility sort of main area. So I think I'll probably do it like this. So what we've got, let me just move these out of the way. What we've got is a 4 and a 2, and it's going to look something like this. Now I'm actually going to draw it slightly off center, just to just to make it look more sort of random locations, so it's not sort of all symmetrical and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm thinking that we're going to link them together like this. And I'm thinking that one of these locations is going to be like a secret location where you need to have passwords. It's like a VIP area maybe, so you can't get direct access to there. Maybe you need to hack the codes or sort of convince the bodyguard or the doorman to kind of let you in. Maybe this is for sort of the rich clientele or maybe the criminal clientele. So what are we going to do? I'm going to say, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right. So we've got 6 locations, and like I say, I was positioning it kind of like this. Yeah, that's kind of the layout I want. Right. Now what we need to do is we need to identify what each of these rooms contains, what they are. And again, it's not going to give me a huge amount of information. It's just going to give me some basic prompts that I can then work on to actually create a proper location. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down the 6 locations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So for each one, I'm going to be doing a descriptor and a room type. The descriptor is going to be based on the trapping. So the one here in the book is just an example, is infested. That's actually one of the ones on the trappings here, but we got worn. So I'm going to roll a descriptor for each room first, and then I'm going to roll the room type. So we are looking for the worn descriptors, which are here. So this is a D8 table. So for room 1, it is 3 crumbling. Second room is 3 crumbling again. Room 3 is 5 groaning. 4, 8 patched. Number 5, we've got another 8 patched again, and then room 6, where the VIPs are, is patched. Okay, so a lot of them are kind of in a state of disarray. There's a lot of damage that's kind of been badly patched up. Holes in the wall have been patched up and stuff like that, so it's not in the best state of repair. Now, those are the descriptors. Those are giving me some information in terms of what it looks like and what it is. But now I have to roll to actually find out what the room type is. Now, like I say, there are some generic and there are also some specific for purpose. So we come back here, purpose was entertainment. So when I roll the room type, if I roll a 6, 7, or 8, I need to come down here and figure out what that room actually is relevant to the purpose. Now, in the back of the book, you do actually have the room type table here, but you don't have that purpose-specific list. So I'm going to stay on this page here, and we are going to roll for each one and find out what they are. Again, depending on what I roll, I may switch some of them around to make it more sense. But let's see. This is also a D8. So room 1, 7, purpose-specific. So maybe this is... Well, I don't think that this is going to be room 1. I think room 1 should be some kind of entrance. Slots, card tables, theatre, holographic, escape room, arena. I'm thinking that number 1 could be something else. So maybe I'll do number 2. Number 2, I'll put card tables. So card tables, that's number 2. Yeah, like I said, I want number 1 to kind of be an entrance room. So I'm just switching this to room 2. So crumbling card table room. Okay, so the walls, the ceiling, it's all crumbling. It's really not in good state of repair. But this is where all the card tables are, in that area there, in that room there. Right, next we have a 2 dining hall or galley. That could be okay for the first room, I think. So a crumbling dining area. So this would probably be the front of the establishment. Maybe the gambling area is, I don't know, maybe illegal? Possibly illegal. But the front has a large dining area, which is like the legal front of the establishment. Okay, good. Right, room 3, which is this area here. We get a 6 purpose specific. So we've got card tables there. Maybe that would be slot machines. Groaning slot machines. Okay. So maybe in this room, maybe the floor is a little bit risky. Maybe the floor groans. Maybe the supports are not as strong as they should be. Okay. Next, we have an 8 purpose specific again. So this is going to be this area here. Let's make this an arena. So a combat arena. Now, whether this is for sort of human, PC, alien combat, or maybe it's for things like chicken fights or dog fighting or things like that. Yeah, I'm definitely getting an idea that this is illegal. So this front of the dining area, I think there may be some kind of barrier here as well. Right, number 5, we get a 2, another, okay, maybe this is the galley. So maybe this is the kitchen area. Maybe that I'll switch with number 2. So I'm thinking maybe I'll switch that just to make more sense. But let's find out what number 6 is, because number 6 I'm thinking is where the VIPs can go through. There's a lot of security. So let's see what we get. We get a 2, dining hall. Yeah, another dining hall or galley. But again, this is for VIP. So this will be the VIP dining and gambling area. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch number 5 and number 2. Because that makes more sense. That I've got the galley, the kitchen here, to supply the front, the dining room area, and then behind that you've got the illegal area here where you've got the gambling, you've got the arena where maybe there are, like I say, some kind of animal combat or human combat or alien combat or something going on. And then here in area 6, it's a limited access, high security, only for the rich, the VIPs, the criminals, yeah, the sort of the gangster kind of area here. So, room challenges. Not every room needs a challenge, but for those that do, roll on the challenge table. So, it's kind of down to you. So, I'm thinking, let's roll for every room, and if it doesn't make sense, we'll just ignore it. Yep. Sounds good? Sounds good. Right. So, we first roll a d6 to find out whether it's an NPC roleplay, environmental, or adversary. I said it right that time. Let's have a look. Right, so room 1, this is going to be the front of the establishment where it's basically just a restaurant to kind of hide what goes on behind. So we're rolling a d6. We get a 1, no surprise there. NPC. Okay, so now we roll here a d8. We got a 7, a merchant. NPC. Merchant. Okay, that makes sense. Maybe here we can actually run into some kind of merchant character, maybe the owner of a merchant vessel who's looking for crew. Maybe they're looking for work, and they're having dinner here, but they're open to conversation. All right, room 2, which was our patched galley. So this is where we prepare all the food. Is there something here? Let's have a look. We get a 5, adversary. Okay, d8, let's see if this makes any sense. A 3, corpo. Some kind of corporate adversary. It doesn't really make sense, but I'll put it down, but I don't think it's going to make any sense. Adversary, corporate. I'll put a question mark. I'm not sure whether that's actually going to work or not. We shall see. Right, room 3, area 3, our groaning slot machines, which has got a dodgy floor. Let's see what we get there. 6, adversary again. So a 1, outlaw. Okay, that could work. Adversary. Outlaw. Now this could possibly be a couple of things. It could be somebody down on their luck and who's going to sort of lash out possibly at the PCs or anybody who's nearby, which could cause a fight. Maybe this is somebody that we have encountered before and is looking for revenge. That could possibly work. That's in this area here. Area 4 is our patched combat arena. Again, bad state of repair. But let's see what we've got. Have we got anything here that we could use? A 3, environment. Environment, what do we get? A 7, a wall. So something about the wall. Well, it says it's patched and maybe the wall's about to collapse. That could be a problem. So environment, wall. Yeah, so maybe as the characters enter that room, maybe I could have the wall collapse. That could work. Then we've got area 5, which is our card table room, which I moved from here. So the card table room is also crumbling, very bad state of affairs. So we get a 4 environment as well. 5, something growing. Ooh. So this again is environment. Something grows. That could work. Maybe it's some kind of mold that we can't see that could cause health issues later. Maybe something's going to come bursting up through the floor, some kind of alien plant. Like Little Shop of Horrors. Feed me now. And then we've got room 6. Now room 6, like I say, is I'm thinking like the VIP room, but let's see what this tells us. We get a 4 environment again. I was hoping for an NPC, to be honest. What do we get? 2. Dense nebula cloud. That doesn't make sense, so we're not going to use that one. We're not going to use that one, so there's no real challenges or anything in there, but we can definitely be free to add important NPCs or somebody that we need to meet. So that's a location, a sci-fi dungeon or a sci-fi station location that we have just rolled up. Very, very quick, but it gives us a framework where we can set a scenario for our party, for our players, but it does need a little bit more fleshing out. As we were rolling the dice, as we were creating this framework, it does help to prompt ideas from our imagination, from our thoughts and memories, things we've read, things we've seen, all comes together to kind of give us this idea. I mean, as I was rolling the dice and as I was creating this, I was thinking of Jackie Chan and was it Chris Tucker? I think one of the Rush Hour movies where they go to the restaurant and at the back of the restaurant you have the criminals. That was what was in my mind as I was rolling this thing up, and it kind of guided me towards that kind of location. So I mean, that's all there is to it. It's very simple, but it's a very good way of creating, like I say, a framework which you can then develop into something complete for your game. And the Dungeon Trappings product is almost exactly the same. So that's Dungeon Trappings and Station Trappings. We've very quickly done an example here for the Sci-Fi. But again, these are definitely worth taking a look, definitely worth downloading. And like I say, you can get them for free, but I really do recommend sending a little bit of money to the designer, Lindsay Bonnet. All these things take time, take effort, take love, and it's always a good idea, even if it's free, it's always a good idea to show your support with $1 or $2. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I've brought to your attention another very useful tool that I think every gamer should have in their arsenal. Right guys, thank you very much for watching. If you do enjoy my channel and the videos that I produce, please consider liking, subscribing and ringing the bell. I don't upload on a regular basis, on a schedule, because of real life, but I do upload as often as I can. And like I say, I'm trying to bring to your attention all these amazing and wonderful products out there for us as gamers. And until the next video, take care, stay safe, cheers.